welcome in this new Studio Tour 2018. So my name is Laetitia Meral, I'm a paper magician and I'm very happy to have you here in my new studio just freshly done. I have filmed already the makeover part 1 and part 2, which I will link just below the video. I will also link all other video I may mention or things you may find yourself, piece of furniture, things like that, books, all the references will be under the video. So I'm so excited to have you in this new place. At last it is finished. I procrastinated everything about it for a long time because it was a lot of work, but I'm so happy now it is done. It's organized in a completely different way than I used to work. I have a detached table, it's not facing a wall, it's on its own. Of course, this place is super special because I have a fireplace. I always dreamed of fireplace. I love old buildings, old castle. And I wanted to create for myself a sort of little studio castle. That's what I adore. I have very high ceilings, so I can pretend I'm in a castle. I'm not really in a castle, but I want to pretend I am. And I put my mirror above my fireplace. I don't see myself when I'm working because I'm working just next to it. I'm facing the mirror, but my chair is very, very low. I'm going to show you that and to explain you different things about that. So I don't see myself at all. I don't have any disturbing reflection. So I only see my little decor and it's really, really nice. And I can enjoy the view. And I also can see my beautiful window and the trees and to have a view of outside. And another very important reason is I'm filming some workshops too. So I used to have different places to film and I wanted to do now everything in the same place, on the same table, and to have the possibility to adjust my lights very easily and my tripods very easily. So to have it on its own, not close to any other piece of furniture or wall is really, really handy. For me, a studio is a very, very special place. Of course, I spend my life in a studio. I worked all the time on my artwork or on workshops, so I'm there pretty much all the time. And it has different purposes. Of course, it has to be beautiful because it has to be inspiring. You are there to create beautiful things, so it's better if it's pretty. For me, my environment has a big impact on me, so changing the colors, being careful with all the details around you is very important. I like a studio to be very cozy, very warm, very welcoming, cheerful, and also I love the past. I love the 18th and the 17th century especially, so I like to have few reminders of that. And there are few elements of decor which are going to arrive a bit later. I couldn't have everything now. So I hope this tour is going to inspire you and you're going to find also a few ideas for your own studio, your own art space. I also wanted to reply to a question Mona asked me on the past makeover part 2 video. She asked me about the green. So I have chosen a purple color which is very, very subtle. It's gray purple. It's not a very deep, very strong color. And it has no really hue, it has no special light. And the green I had before, which had been painted by the previous owner, it was a very strong, the hue was crazy. I was turning totally green when I was next to it. It was very, very strong. And I chose to have some deep green, some phthalo green around me on my furniture, which I paint. You saw that on the 2 makeover parts I posted before. But on my table it is green, but I don't have any problem with that. Now, if you think you may have, depending on how the light lands on your table, on your desk, maybe it would be better to have a more neutral color. For me, I always have some mess on my table. It is super clean today because it is the studio tour, but it's not like that all the time. And with the wax, with the dark wax, I find that it just neutralizes the hue I could have. Now, if you are a bit afraid you may have a green coming, maybe choose another color for your desk or your table. For me, it works. You see, I have some green furniture here and there, but they don't give so much light. Maybe the one which gives the most light is my little shelf I have next to my window because the light comes next to it. Otherwise, it's really fine and I'm really happy because the green I had before was really a problem for me in my studio, in my workspace. It was really a problem. So in my first big drawer, the one which doesn't close really well, I have nothing really very exciting, but I'm going to show you anyway. Some rules, different sort of thing really to organize my work. I don't really use it on sketches or anything like that. Some glitter, some nylon thread, some wire, some tool. This tool, I really like it very much. It's a dentist tool and it's really nice to sculpt, so I like to have it there. I have here tons of pencil, mainly very soft ones. I like to work with very soft pencils. And I have some pens, different sort of thing really to sculpt. Whether this thing, I bought it and I mentioned that in a previous vlog. I never used it really. I tried to do a few things but it didn't work. I keep it anyway. So nothing really exciting here. In my second drawer, I have all the paint I really use all the time, so it's acrylic paint, and I like it by this brand Sennelier because I like the packaging. I think I use it really much better. I use it completely. It's the first sort of paint which I don't waste at all, so I really like this this packaging thing. And I like the colors too. I think they are very well pigmented, very high quality, so I like to use them. I don't have any blue here because I keep using the one I also already had. I still have quite a lot from other brands, so I finished them. And I like also the metallic colors, which are really pretty. Well, they are all really nice. So I keep them here because I use them every day, all the time. So those are really the ones which are there. I have some black and white, but they're a bit too big to fit here. I have here also the pins because I use them a lot also to hold things while I'm working. And as you can see, my drawer is giant. So I have here, I have some tissue usually, but this is all used. I don't have them now. Different sort of scissors and pliers. Not very new, but they're still working. And yes, and it holds my entire drawer. So you see, with my drawers, I can really fit pretty much everything I need really on a daily basis. I don't have my paper or my glue here, but I have all the other things. And here at the moment I have my Alice in Wonderland. I'm finishing the very last character from my Wonderland series, so it's the reason it's open now. It's a 7 frog, and you are going to see it in the next vlog. I have some different sort of papers and notebooks for different sort of use. So this was my sketchbook, which is almost finished. I have 3 or 4 pages which are not used, and I like to write excerpts of stories I'm working on, things like that, and of course sketches and different sort of things. And I like to have all sort of notebooks and upcycle notebooks just to make lists. I like to make lists of everything I'm working on. This is for the frog because I have so many details, so many things on my work. I need to be organized, and I started to do that a few years ago, and I do it all the time. And on my table I also always have several jars of water, usually 2 or 3. And I have some plates. Here it's a clean one. I always have a lot of plates to use and to put my paint on. Some big brushes, different sorts, and some thin brushes, a lot of thin brushes. And over there it's a basket with all my leftovers of mulberry paper mainly, which I like to keep and use for another piece, for another project. So, and this is my nice quote I really like for La Bruyère. I also mentioned that in a past video, but I really like it, and I like to keep it on my desk because it's just about the use of time, and those who complain about the shortness of time should remember they don't use it really well in the first place. It's roughly translated, it means that. So when I complain about my shortness of time, I like to be remembered of that. And I didn't tell you all about my chair. So this chair, I bought it at the same time than the sofa. I really like it. It's a Louis XV style, and I really love this style. And the thing is, it is a very, very low chair. If you see the other one at the back, I keep this one just to put mess on it usually. And they are much higher. I bought them there were 2 of them, and I bought them for the studio. They are much higher. This one is very low. When I say low, it's extremely low. When I'm seated, I'm really much lower than my desk, and this way I'm more straight, and I found out that it's more comfortable for the back and the shoulders and all that. So, but it's really low. I will try to tell you how low it is. Yes, this part of the chair is about 40 centimeters from the floor, so you can tell how low it is, and I really like it. I find it super comfortable. So over So here I have the same chest of drawers you saw in my past studio tour. I organized it a bit differently because I can't store everything here. I have another place in my living room where I store all my extra stuff, extra thing. But so now the drawers are pretty empty. I just kept the things I use on a really very regular basis. And this used to be on my desk. That's always been on my desk. And I just keep on these little drawers, things I don't use so much, because with my giant drawers I have now under my desk, I don't need it so much. And so I put it here. Above you can see a paint which was offered to me by a friend. It's an artist I didn't know actually, and I will link her also under the video. And this is a portrait of Madame de Sévigné, my dear Madame de Sévigné, because I was rereading her a lot and I love the 17th century, and her dress is matching my wallpaper, so I thought she really had to be here. And this is a little mouse, which I probably had already on my past video, and it's made by my friend from the Netherlands, Caroline, who is a teddy bear artist. I love her work. And this is a great book by this illustrator, Russian illustrator, now American I think, which I adore. I adore his book, and of course the color is also matching the theme of my studios. Now I'm going to quickly show you what I have in my drawers. Nothing really fancy or exciting, but I'm going to show you. In the first we just have some sort of labels, which I'm going to change. I don't use them like that, but I've just ordered. I'm pretty much in the middle of reorganizing all my packaging thing. I used to pack things in a certain way, and I like now to change and to do things a bit more personal, a bit more handmade. I like to use my leftovers of paper and try to make really pretty and unique labels. And I have some tape, some different things to ship, but I have other things which are also in my living room, and over there is just some mess, nothing really special. In the second one, it's more interesting maybe. I have all my notebooks. I also decluttered that. I will use them also. It seems like there were a lot, but they are used. All those are really used. They were spiral binded notebooks, but I removed the thing because it bothered me very much, and I kept all sorts of things. So I use them for everything. Of course, artwork, my to-do list, my workshops, everything. On the third one we have some glue or some scotch tape, which shouldn't be there, and some wallpaper glue. I need to have a bit more than that to have more stock. I have also more in my living room, a stock where I keep all my extra things, so it's just the one which I'm about to use now. And in this one I had what I previously had in my basket. I had two baskets under my desk, and now as my desk is not attached anymore to any wall or anything, I wanted to be really clear of everything under it, so I kept all my extra cardboard, paper, thick paper, which I'm going to use. And on this one we have some extra leftovers of foam board. Just the same, I removed a lot because I used to have a lot and I don't need so much, so just some extra little pieces and a bit of mulberry paper, but just the same, I keep all my big pack of mulberry paper in my living room. It's just what I'm going to use maybe in the upcoming days. Here we have just some newspaper, Japanese newspaper, because a friend of mine went to Japan and she brought me some little present packed with this Japanese newspaper, and also different sort of thickness. And this one is just mess. I'm not going to show it to you, it's just extra mess I didn't sort out yet. So in this corner I have a staircase. I showed it already on the past studio tour, so I'm not going to show it again. I have my foam board just behind it. This is some things I had started last year in July, and it's going to be for my living room, and actually it's going to be finished in the Fairy Tale Home Decor workshop with the other Hunt trophies. We are going to do all that. There will be big decors, and there will be variations of that too. And this is my bookshelves. I really like to keep books in my studio. They inspire me. I like to have them next to me. And here is just a selection. It's not all my books. It's just the fairy tale, the reference books, all fairy tales or art books. So here I have the beautiful book offered by a dear client, and it's Les Contes de Perrault, in a beautiful, beautiful edition from the beginning of the century, of the 20th century. I have here some old books. This one is really pretty too. It's fairy tale, historical fairy tales. Not very famous one, but they are organized by centuries and it's really nice one. The Nutcracker, Perrault, my Dear Madame d'Aulnoy fairy tale, big fairy tale book, which I shared a lot of those already in past videos, so I'm not going to go back on all of them. And it's Olgason. And this one, you may probably know this one, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's such a great book, and I decided to keep it on in my studio and to reread it. I read it when it launched. I think it launched in 2015, and I thought it was really time to go back to it. So I'm going to read it, and I like the cover because it's a purple one too. And just at the top of my bookshelves, I have the Dollhouse from the Dollhouse Workshop, which is the house we do, and I teach how to do this one in the Dollhouse Workshop, which is very inspired, of course, by my dollhouses I made, the Miss Havisham dollhouse and the Enchanted dollhouse. I will link this one just under the video if you want to see them. And this workshop will reopen in January 2019. It's closed at the moment. I open it only once a year. And this one is the elephant we do in the Elephant Doll Workshop. And I'm going to make him a new costume soon because I want him really to match my room. So I think it's going to deserve a new costume. And those are my fairy tale book, little fairy tale book collection or illustrators I really like. And on this drawer I have my collection, my growing but small for the moment collection of aprons. I like nice aprons. I spend my life in aprons, so I like to have beautiful ones. I plan also to make my own, and you can tell I was lazy when I paint the bookshelves. I didn't paint everything properly. And in this second drawer, it's things I don't use at all, like those things, but I don't know really what to do with them, so they're here. At least I really never use that, but it's here. These are all my pastel. I don't know if you say that in English. I think you don't say pastel, but it's dry or different sort of dry pastel. I used to do that a lot, these things. When I was a teenager, I did a lot of copies and imitation of paintings, and I love to do that. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that these days, but I love to keep all these pieces. They are part of my artistic journey, and I don't use them anymore, but I like to have them and to keep them as something really precious. It's quite sentimental. I would like to keep them for that, even if there are very, very few chances I use them again. But so I decided in my lanterns, they have been all painted, they were white and they have been decorated and all that. I decided to try to store my leftovers. Things I have started, didn't use. Those are the most complicated things for me to store. I don't have a lot of supplies. You have seen I have really very few things, and I'm super happy with that. I don't need really more. But here I have a lot of little things which I didn't use, like some roses, some hands, if you want a hand. I tried to see if it would work to store them in my lanterns, because I think it's quite nice because you have the little door and to be able to see all the things you have, because that's the problem when you have a lot of little things, you don't see them. The purpose also to keep them is to reuse them maybe. And in this one I have bigger things, and I have some wheels. So these wheels were made for a carriage, and I will probably do other carriage in the future. The wheels are very, very long to do, very time consuming. So when I have started some wheels and I didn't use them, I still keep them because, you know, it was a lot of work to do them in the first place. So you never know. And this is a piece of the elephant costume, his first jacket, the one he had in the Elephant Doll Workshop, and I had to remove it to do the costume in the other workshop, so that's the reason it's there. And other little things which might be used. Here there is some nuts, and I have to remember myself that I could use them. I think I made them for the Little Red Riding Hood carriage, and I forgot I had them. On the other side of the fireplace, I have another jar of other things which were not finished. I keep them. It's less easy to have that. That's why I try to experiment with my lantern, because if it works well, I will have only lanterns, because here it's just not super convenient to put your hand inside this box. And behind it, you may have seen my Buffon Illustré. I already showed it many times in videos. It comes from the old bookshop, and I love it. Buffon was a naturalist of the 18th century, and it's all about animals. and the texts are very fun. It's not meant to be fun, but they are very fun now for someone who lived nowadays to read that, because it's full of truth and also misconceptions about animals. And behind it you have my other book, and I mentioned it already in the other studio tour, so I'm not going to open it, but I loved it very, very much. So it's here. And just behind it, behind this jar, I have some wires, some leftovers of wires, so I like to keep them too and to reuse them. My mirror comes from Le Bon Coin and I really like it. I showed it how I changed it. It was green, there was this sort of olive green color under it, and I used the same color too that I use in all my furniture without any dark wax, so it gives this really nice turquoise or phthalo green color I really like. And I made some paper ribbons and some tassels I already had to decorate it. And over here you can recognize the fairy tale carriage, which is over here now because these colors are totally matching the theme of the studio and the colors, so I thought it would look nice here. And here, this is the resting part of the studio. It is where my guests sleep when they visit me. I started to create these pillows, but they are not sewed yet. I need to sew them all. I recycled all the fabric I had. It is an IKEA bed, which can be small or can be big, depending on the use you want to make of it. It's very, very convenient here because I don't have so much space, so it's nice that you can have it in a small version when you don't need it. And it's still very comfortable. And there is the window, there is the sky, the trees, the flowers. It's so peaceful. It's going to be a bit a dangerous place too, because it's going to be so nice to read and to sketch here. So for the past year I had this bed, but it was just a mountain of mess on it, and it was in the other corner of the room, so I was never tempted really to go on it. But now that it is here, I think it works so well and it's super comfortable. And I'm going to add tons and tons of pillows and cushions, and to have my curtains. Over here, it is also something I previously had on my desk, and now I put it here. I changed the color too, and I think it framed the books really well. So here is just my old fairy tales book, which I really like, my Comtesse de Ségur series. There is Les Petites Filles Modèles, Les Nouveaux Contes de Fées, All New Fairy Tales, Memories of a Donkey. And yes, and my Madame d'Aulnoy, a very precious book, and I will try to have the others of the series when I can find them. And those who belong to my grandmother, these 3 other fairy tales. They are really the one I had for a very long time. And this is a piece of furniture which belonged to my grandmother. She had that in her kitchen and it was sleeping in an attic for 2 decades. Nobody was using it in my family, so I took it. You have seen in the makeover part 2 how I painted it. I have the few costume of the paper cloth workshop hanging here. I have those, and we are going to do some hunter phase in the fairy tale home decor workshop. So the one we are doing in the workshop will be slightly bigger than those, but I'm going to finish them anyway. And on the top, you already have seen that in my past tour. It's all my leftovers of paper. In the basket, it's some things finished, not finished, started, just a bit bigger than what I can have in my lanterns, just bigger characters or things. And on this little corner I have a small dollhouse which I have to finish. I hope to go back to her at the end of October, November. I really want to finish her. I have another boot not finished, and I have put some walls inside. I have a nice fragrance which smells rose, which smells quite good. And here it's some paint. I use a bit less, but I have my blues which I still use. I don't really need all this space right now, but I'm going to find things to put on these shelves, that's for sure. And in this little corner, on this stand that you saw me painting also on the studio makeover, I have different sketchbooks. I have also some things like that where I keep organized, especially my work for the workshops. It's mainly that, so I like to have those for this sort of more serious work. But I have also some sketchbooks of different sizes. This one is my new one, it's the old one. I showed it in my August favorites video because I really like this fancy sketchbook, and I'm excited to start this one. Thank you very much for watching this Studio Tour 2018. I'm so excited to have this new place now to work. I will of course have an updated video next year in 2019, because there will be tons of things which will be added in the upcoming weeks and months. You're going to see there is specific piece of decor, my cushions, of course, and my curtains, all that. And of course I would like to try to find a nice ceiling chandelier also, so you will see that in the next videos. For now, I will leave you here. You will see below the video all the references to workshops, to videos, to things I have mentioned. I also have on my blog a matching post with all the photos also of the studio if you want to see them at merveilleenpapier.com. For now, I'll leave you here. Don't forget to give a thumbs up to the video if you liked it. It's a nice way to support it. And you can subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss the next videos. I will have other videos coming in October about other things in this studio series. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.